Hi guys, it's Lexie. I just finished doing all of the editing for this video for you guys, and I just wanted to hop on and say thank you for watching this. We had so much fun making this, not only just because it was our final project for this class, but also to help you guys in the future. There was no how to play for Boudicca that we could find, and building one was so much fun. And now our video is now there for you guys to reference. Two things that I wanted to mention before you guys drop right in. The first one was that during the video filming process, there's a couple points where my friends Will and Olav, who are going to be the ones explaining the game to you, were referencing something that is now no longer in the video from before when they tried to reference it, but everything that they are trying to reference is now still in the video. It's just now after when they were trying to reference it. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to tell you guys that that's a moment that happens once or multiple times. I can't remember, and I just wanted you to be aware. The second thing is that there's a couple points where the background noise is not just background noise anymore. There's one point where there's a piano playing in the background, and there's one point where there's an ambulance in the background. I just wanted to alert you guys that those were there as well, in case there was a point where you're watching this, for example, maybe at home over a break, or watching this in a busy area. If you hear these things in the background, those are in the video. So some of the noises that you're hearing might be in the video, and some of them might be outside the video. I just want you to be aware that that might be a little bit of a complex concept. Without further ado, I'm actually going to pass you guys over to my friends Will and Olav, and I hope you guys have so much fun watching this as much as we had fun making it for you guys.
Alright, I'm Will.
I'm Olav.
And we're here to make possibly the first ever guide to Boudicca the Warrior Queen, the board game here. Very excited. This board game is supposed to simulate, but also give you some agency over Boudicca's famous rebellion against the Romans who were occupying Britain at the time under the leadership of their governor, Septonius Paulus. Olav, you want to talk a little bit about the goals of the Britons here?
Oh, yeah. So, the game's played over 6 turns, and at the end of it, you count up victory points for each side. For the Britons, you get points for sacking towns, posts, which are these little Roman forts down here and one up here. You get 10 points for each legion you destroy, which are the armies of the Romans up here. You get 5 points for reducing a legion by 22 strength points. You get 5 points for killing the governor, and you get 1 point for each civilian counter, which are these little guys with the torches you kill.
Yeah, now the Roman side is basically the opposite. You're trying to keep Boudicca from wreaking as much havoc as you can. You can also do kind of a counter-sack on certain settlements and towns, which you end up with kind of a funny situation sometimes where a town has been basically destroyed by both factions, however that works. And this is mainly including tribal oppidums, which are the areas where Boudicca will be trying to raise her reinforcements from.
These little areas with the colorful little, bars.
Yeah. So you also get 5 points for killing Boudicca herself. You get 2 points for killing each druid, who are kind of a very special piece that we'll get into later. You get points for surviving civilians, who are located kind of covered in certain places by auxiliary. But they are, your people. You're trying to keep them from just getting murdered. And then you also get points for killing rival pieces on the British side.
By completely wiping out certain tribes. So you get points for, like, killing an entire tribe of the Catavallani or the Iceni. You get points for that.
Yeah, and you get 1 point for each counter within that tribe. But the whole tribe has to die for you to get any points in the first place.
There's also a fun little rule that if the Romans ever sack a tribal oppidum that is not currently in revolt, the residents will rise up in revolt because they're angry that the Romans burned down their town. So you want to be careful not to sack places which aren't in revolt.
Yeah, so we'll get into that strategy later as we talk through certain rounds.
Right. So here we're going to go over the sequence of play. So there's 5 phases to it. First of which is you draw your cards for the turn. Starting out in the first turn, the Britons get 10 cards as shown up there. Romans get 6. You're going to get less and less as the Britons as time goes on because you're losing momentum for your revolt, while the Romans gain more because they're getting more organized and better to fight the Britons.
They're getting their stuff together. Yeah.
Next is civilian movement, which we will talk about as those are his pieces.
Yeah, so the main goal of your civilians is to get out of danger. These hordes are going to swoop in, and their main goal, as he said earlier, is to kill as many civilians as possible, as early as possible. So we got civilians here in Lindum, in Corinium, thank you, in Camaldonium, and in Lindum. And as you can see, there's hordes here. I'm seeing that there's druids here and here who are going to try to start stuff. So I'm going to move these civilians up to 6 spaces, basically in the opposite direction of any danger I see. So these guys are going to get out Lindum. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, they're able to go the full 6 because they're on a road. This is something that's kind of unique to the Romans.
If you see on the chart up here, if it'll focus, I don't know if it'll focus.
There we go.
There we go. So it has the movement cost for all terrain types for the Romans and Britons. So Britons have this fun little thing where they can't use roads, but they move faster through clear terrain with their infantry. So like they're really good at just going fucking off into the woods and like the hills to get away from the legions.
Yeah, whereas the legions are going to try to use the roads as much as possible to get really close to them, and then only start off-roading when they have to. This is also balanced out by the fact that the legions generally have less points for movement, but their efficiency is better with them on roads. So, anyway, back to the civilians. I've moved them out here, so we kind of have the woods and the river separating them from this rebellion that might start. These guys down at Camelodium are kind of screwed. They're hidden under here. But I'm still going to make a valiant effort to go them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves away. Hopefully they live. They might not. These civilians in Londinium, I'm probably going to take down here. I have some auxiliary who could act as kind of a wall of defense if they moved in. So I'm going to take them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. And hopefully they don't revolt down here. And then my last one over here in Cranium, I believe there's
only one.
Just one of him. He's going to go, this is a great question. I'm going to move him, if I can move these for a second, down this way. Because I know that my second legion is going to come in down here at some point. And if I move him down here, there's only really one settlement that could revolt, which is unlikely. We'll go through how spontaneous revolts can work later. But all things considered, he has the best chance of surviving if I move him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this way. And that's the end of the civilian turn. Now we see if they survive.
Yes. All right. So now that civilians are done moving, we would go into determining initiative, but since this is the first turn, the Britons go first no matter what, because they're just rising up and kind of taking the Romans by surprise. So during this phase, since I start, I can play up to 2 cards from my hand of 10 cards here, which range from these activation points, which let me move troops, to these event cards, which for the Britons, there are 4 unique events. This one allows you to draw a new card if you won a major battle. This one lets you rampage, where you roll a die and you get an effect for the tribe or horde you just rolled for. This spontaneous revolt allows you to roll dice to see what random tribe on the board will revolt. And then Druid Invocation, you roll a die to just see what kind of trouble the Druids can get up into, because they can cause a rampage, they can cause a spontaneous revolt, they can make the governor sick, or they could just cause bad weather for everybody and everyone moves slower. It's an interesting gambling mechanic there.
Lots of headaches for the Romans.
Yes. So, I, as the Britons, want to try and kill as many civilians as I can. So and to do that, I need to spend activation points to move troops. Now, you can only move like an army or tribe or horde once per, what's it called? Once per...
Initiative?
Impulse phase.
Impulse.
So I couldn't, for instance, move the tribe of the Trinovantes 8 spaces and then another 8 in this same initiative. This same impulse. I would have to wait till the Romans went, and then I could move them again. But then that second movement would be as much as they could do. And the movements are marked by these little U's tiles, which have a front and a back for 1 and 2. So I'm going to choose to play. Let's see. I can move a potential. I can move the Trinovantes up here, the Iceni up here, and my Druids here. So I can use potential 4 activation points. So I'm going to play 4 total activation points. We got a 3 and a 1. So I can use these in any order I want. I can move the Trinovantes, move the Iceni, move the Druids, or use the Druids to invoke a revolt. Now there is a table here that shows what you need to roll to get a revolt or a rampage or all that, but I'm going to avoid that for now and just move. So I'm going to move first off the Trinovantes up to 8 movement points away. Now cavalry have movement points of 12, as you can see up here. However, it is more expensive for them to move through terrain, so generally just stick to the 8 movement points that infantry have, because it will most likely line up with whatever the cavalry have. Sometimes you want to split cavalry off, but not always a good idea, because you need them in battles to both pursue attackers and also defend yourself from pursuit. So there, you usually want cavalry to stick with an army. So to calculate how far the Britons can move, pretty easy. You just count up each clearing space, and that's 1 movement point. And since infantry can move 8, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here I'm going to attack the auxiliaries in Camalodinium. It's hard to pronounce that. I didn't take Latin. But so now this is a battle that's going to happen, and to determine if it's a skirmish or a major battle, you count up whether one side has a certain amount of troop, or like a certain point value for troops. And I can't remember the threshold. I'll find it real quick here. Right, let's see.
For the odds?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh.
So for odds of 7 to 1, so that could be like 7 to 1, 14 to 2, so on. It's an overrun, which means that the smaller force is basically just deleted off the map.
Right.
If it's even 10 to 1, which is very rare, the battle costs 2 movement points, but then the attacking stack can continue to move. Odds of 1 to 5 is a automatic attacker elimination, except in a special case, which we might get to see later.
Yeah.
There's also rules for withdrawing and pursuit, but we'll see if we even get there, because this is a horde descending on some very weak auxiliary.
You count up the strength of both sides. So in this case, I've got 24 and the Romans have 4. If you ever have odds of 7 to 1, you get to overrun the enemy, and if you have 10 to 1, you can use 2 movement points to win that battle and just keep moving in the same impulse. Since it's only 6 to 1, you don't get to do that, so I still have to fight. So since I have more than 10 strength on the side, this is considered a major battle. So for this, we both roll dice, determined by the ratio. So I would roll 6 dice, and he would roll 1 die. So no matter what happens here, the Romans kind of lose. So, wait.
Unless I get really lucky.
Unless he gets really lucky. So, since the odds are 6-1, I roll 6 dice, and the Romans will roll 1 die. So I'll roll these 6, and that's whatever. Okay, so that's more than 9. So I deal 4 hits of damage,
which is going to completely wipe out my guys. And we'll do damage in a second. Now, even though they're pretty much dead, I still get to roll. Rolls happen separately, but damage is counted simultaneously. So it happens at the same time. So I'm going to roll, hopefully a 6. That'd be cool.
A 6?
Look at that.
All right, so then based on this little chart here, right there, you see what happens to determine, like, based on if it's a major battle skirmish, and then what rolled. So I rolled 4 hits. So usually each unit can be flipped over to say they've taken 1 hit. But since he's only got 2 units, these are completely wiped out. So now for me, he rolled a 6, and then so I have to take 2 hits, and with the little little H next to it means that it has to go to the unit with the highest strength. So in this case, it is my infantry with a strength of 10. So they both take 1 hit of damage.
Yeah, and let's show a little close up there.
Yeah. So whenever you flip over, you get. If it'll focus, come on. Okay. Well, it's not focusing, but one side will have a value in this case 10. The other side will have half that value. So now it's down to 5.
Yeah. So even though my auxiliary and cavalry tragically died, they did a really good job of weakening the barbarians while they were at it.
So now, you put this little tile here to show that those units have been used once. Now, if I wanted to use a second activation point to sack the city, that would then put them at a use 2, I believe, right? Because you can only use activation points 2 times for units. So that's 1 activation point gone, which let's just say it's this card. So my second one will move Boudicca and Horde number 1 up here in Iceni, which you can see what's in here over here. You can see what's in each horde. So Horde 1 right now is just Iceni. So Boudicca's going to move 1, 2, 3. Now crossing a river means you add plus 5 to the value you're moving. So right now I've used 1, 2, 3 points. So moving over this will do 4 plus 5, which would be 9, which is too much. So I can't cross the river there, but I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just sit there and cross the river on the next turn. I can cross it earlier up here if I go 1, 2, 3 plus 4 is 7. So I'm going to cross the river and be done with it. So now Boudicca's been, and Horde 1 has been used once. Now I have 2 more points left to use. I'm going to use the first of them to move the Druid from this town here up north, because up here you are the Brigantes and the Parisi. And they are really strong. The Brigantes, if you can get them to revolt, have like 60 combat strength when they start out. And this Druid can move 15 points. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and just sit up there for now. And this Druid down here is going to attempt to make the Catavilani revolt. So to do that, you take a die, and you roll it and see what happens. On a 1, the tribe revolts, and you get to rampage them, so they get like a little bonus. On a 2 to 4, the tribe revolts. On a 5 to 6, nothing happens. So here, nothing happens. So the revolt failed. The Catavilani are in revolt.
That is lucky for me.
Lucky for the Romans. Now, I do believe that Druid. I think that Druid is now used once, unless cleared that up. So then that's the end of my turn. So now I just discard the 2 cards I played, and it's the Romans' turn. Oh, I low-key just remembered something I forgot to do. Mm-hmm. So Britons have a fun event card where if they win a major battle, they can immediately play this card to draw a new one. So, retroactively, I won that battle in a Camelodium. So, I get rid of that and just draw a random card from my leftover 8 here. So the Romans can then take their turn.
Unbelievable. All right, so starting to look a little scary. We got, a horde moving on these civilians. We've got this guy coming up here. Lots of mayhem. Now, my goal as the Romans, as I see it, is to kind of head off these two tribes. That's my main goal. These guys can be an issue up north, but I'm just going to be honest. Getting across this big of a field, crossing these rivers as the Romans, really is not feasible. Even if you use your cavalry, you can't outrun a druid. And by the time they're up here, and that's a really big horde, both of these could easily take out a legion. So, might need to deal with them later, but for now, I'm going to let them be, and I'm going to try to get my 2 units on the board down south to fight off these hordes. So, I think I'm going to start with just a calm 2 action point play. I don't need to do much here. I just need to get them moving. So, Valyria, there's only really one road they can take. And again, we're focusing on using those roads to get there as fast as possible. So Valyria's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Hispania kind of has a choice here. But again, these hordes are coming in from, I suppose that's the east. So he's going to take the eastern road. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say hi to our civilians. 7, 8. That's all you can do. Rome gets a lot more exciting later on, and once we start fighting, there's some cool stuff we can do, but for now, that's about the extent of it.
Right. So then it goes back to me, the Britons. So I can choose to play another few cards. So I am going to, let's see. I believe I will do that. So that's okay. I'll do I'll just play 3 activation points, 1 card and 1 2 card. So I've got 3 to work with here. So starting out, I am going to use 1 activation point to sack this city here. It doesn't okay. I checked the rules, and if you sack, it doesn't flip to the other used side. You just can't move that impulse, but you can still move the next one. So to show that a settlement has been, or a city has been sacked, you take one of these markers. It's either you put on the Briton or the Roman side, depending on who sacks the the city. So now that city has been sacked, giving me a nice 4 victory points at the end of the game. So that's 1 point done. Second point I'm going to use to move Boudicca, and this tribe up here go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe towns, 6, 7, 8. So now Boudicca has been used twice and can't move anymore this turn, but now she is nearly able to link up with this tribe here and make a pretty formidable horde. So that is the second point, and then for my third point, I'm going to try another tribal revolt here with the Catavilani, so hopefully this one works. This time the tribe revolts, so you take this little piece here, get rid of it, and then you place all of the units from the matching tribe in the tribal oppidum, where are the Catavilani? Are they... Oh, they're
in there.
Yeah, they're in here. So the Catavilani get a nice 2 cavalry and 2 warriors on the board. So they have a starting strength of 28 right now. So if you can link up with some other tribes with a Druid or Boudicca, you can have a pretty good army going. So now it's back to Will's turn as the Romans.
Great. So I really, really don't want that to happen. I forgot to do this, but these 2 legions will, of course, be marked as used, so that we know they've moved once. Now, of my remaining cards, there are a few fun things I can do. So, I'm going to start by doing 2 activation points this time, so I get to move both my legions. So Valyria, again, is going to march down the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're both used twice now. But this still isn't really as close as I'd like to be. This druid and this, horde are just going to go uncontested. Boudicca can't move anymore, but they're probably going to try to kill my civilians. So this is where I pull out probably my favorite Roman card, which is called Forced March. Forced March basically just means that right after a unit has been activated and moved, they can move again. Now, it comes with its own special marker, as well as its own special little debuff. Mm-hmm. So you generally don't want to force march into battle, but it can help with our positioning here.
So there's no detriment to forced marching into combat. However, when you're forced marching, if you as the Britons want to intercept the army and try and kind of like ambush them, that's good for you. It'll give you a +1 to the intercept roll. And then if you succeed that intercept, it gives you a +2 in the first round of combat to try and do some damage. And as the Britons, your main tactic for battles is hit and run. So you want to be utilizing your intercept and then that advantage in the first round of combat and then withdrawing, especially if you're fighting a much stronger Roman force.
Yeah. So because I don't want to get intercepted and I'm not close enough to directly fight either of these, or any of these hordes, really, I'm going to choose to use my Force March on Valyria. So I'm just going to get them a little bit closer. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're not close enough to be intercepted, but they are close enough that they're going to pose a threat to these guys. They can't really move north. They can only move south, which is probably where they want to go. But they know that next round I'm going to be breathing down their necks. So I've kind of put some pressure on them.
And one thing to note is interception can happen up to 3 movement points away. Now, that is different for the Britons and the Romans, because Romans in fields, it costs them 2 movement points to move into it. So if, say, I had a British unit 2 tiles away from a Roman off a road, they couldn't intercept that because that would be 4 movement points away. But if I were on the road and 3 tiles away, they could do that. So keep that in mind because movement points is different for each side. So now it goes back to me. Now here, I've got this legion kind of breathing down my neck. It can't move again this turn, but I want to get these guys into a consolidated force so I can defend against the legions that are coming to me. So we are going to play 2. Let's see. We'll play 2 action points, and then we'll also play a spontaneous revolt so I can show off that. So we'll do the spontaneous revolt here, where I take, it says here, I take 2 dice and I decide when one is going to be the tens and one is going to be the second column of ones. So if I rolled a 2 here, this would be a 20. I rolled a 1 here, it'd be 21. So this die here is the first one I roll is going to be a 10. So that's a 4. So already nothing's going to happen because you need to roll at least a 1 or a 2 first to get a spontaneous revolt. So that was a 46. So I don't get the spontaneous revolt, unfortunately. But I still can use the 2 activation points here to maneuver. So first off, we are going to move the Catavolani here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and kill both of these civilians right here. So I hang on to these to show that I've killed them, because I get points at the end of the game for that. And now the Catavolani have been used 1 time. Next, I am going to... I'll move the Trinovantes here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and link up with the Catalani. So since I have a druid here, that means I can combine both of these forces into a horde and combine their strength. So I replace all the units here on the board with a horde marker. And since both of them have been used, or the Trinovantes have been used once, the Catalani have been used one has been used twice, the other has only been used once, this horde is considered to have been used twice. So it can't move anymore, but now I am a little more prepared for when the legions come and attack me. So that's the end of my turn, and it goes back to the Romans.
Now, at this point, I'm losing my mind. This is a very, very rough situation to be in as the Romans. And unfortunately, my legions, my only real fighting force, completely used up. But I still have a couple cards left to play. I've got some activation points, and I do unfortunately have a force march. Now, a wiser man may have waited, moved one legion, done the force march, and then done the second legion another turn. But this is also kind of instructive that at this point, because I can't move any of my legions and force march only applies directly after a move, this force march card is basically in the trash.
You can use it for auxiliaries if you really want to get them like to a certain place, but auxiliaries are very weak, so...
This is a great point. I might actually end up doing that. So, first of all, I'm basically just going to start moving my auxiliaries. That's all I really can do. So, one thing I can start doing now is bringing in some of my legions, because I'm outnumbered as it stands. So there are two legions I can bring in. There's the 15th Legion, Gemina, which come in up here at Deva, which I strategically left some cavalry at. We'll talk about that in a second. And then there's the 2nd Legion, the Augusta. Now, the Augusta are known to be cowards. In real life, the commander of the Augusta Legion, Ponus Postumus, actually ended up killing himself after the end of Boudicca's rebellion because he basically just hung out in a corner of Britain while the whole thing went down, and afterwards he could not handle the shame. Now, we're not going to let him get away with that, but because he's so far away, activating him is really hard. You basically spend 1 point to roll a die, and if the number you roll is lower than the turn number that you're on, he gets mobilized. We're on turn 1. That's physically impossible. So we're not going to bring him in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play 2 activation points here. And with my first one, I'm going to bring in the 14th Legion. This is your biggest, strongest legion, and it has Septonius Paulus as a leader, which, as we'll see later, helps with some of your die rolls. So we really want him to come in. Unfortunately, this set is missing some pieces. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to pretend Septonius exists, and we're going to pretend that instead of having one of these fun, colorful markers, they're kind of hard for you to see anyway, for the Legion, it's going to be this scared guy. Famous painting. So, he's going to move into Deva, and these cavalry, we're just going to add to our stack over here as part of the Legion. He can be moved later, but for now we're just going to leave him there. He can't do anything currently. But he can on our next impulse. So after that, all I really got left is auxiliary. So I'm going to move these auxiliary from this random town that doesn't really matter right now, I think. Or actually what I can do, because these guys are pretty safe, I believe I left some cavalry up here. Might just be one of them, but one is still valuable. And we're going to move him 12 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It may seem silly to move such a weak piece all on its own, but again, there's no threat currently. And as we'll see later, cavalry can decide a lot of battles. So I want to link that cavalry up with my guys.
All right, so now it's my turn. And, all right, I've kind of run out of cards as the Britons. I've used, like, most of my energy mobilizing down here and combining forces. So I don't have a lot to work with. And I failed to use this Rampage on one Hex event effectively because I don't really have any tribal units that can effectively use it because the bonuses they get are to battle and being able to sack without spending an activation point. And as you can see, all my units here have been used up, so I can't really do much. So instead, I'm going to use this Druid Invocation event, and I roll a die, and something will happen. We'll see. So I got a 1, so that means the Briton player draws 1 extra OP's cards from his deck. So I just draw an extra card randomly, and it's just an extra 1 activation point. So nothing crazy, but it's helpful. So now I'm going to I'm just going to use one more activation point and move my Druid up north. 1, 2 plus 4 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 into the Brigantes territory. So now he can hopefully get them to revolt and come down and help on my next impulse.
Alright, we're back with the Romans. There's only so much that's left to do. First, I'm going to play 3 activation points. I'm going to start moving Septonius over here down south. Unfortunately, as we talked about earlier, Romans are really bad at going through anything that isn't a road. So each one of these spaces is going to cost him a full 2 movement points. It sucks, but it's the way it goes. So he's going to only be able to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Now, with my other 2 points, I'm going to start moving more auxiliary. I'm going to move this cavalry again. He's going to go 1, 2. Now, which unit do I want to have him? I'm thinking that...
Oh, you get the force march debuff goes away at the start of the next impulse.
Yeah. So, both these groups honestly have a good amount of cavalry. Hispania's a little bit weaker, so I'm going to move it to him. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And he's just going to join the Hispania stack over here. His use thing is going to go away because Hispania already has one to represent that. I have 1 more point. Doesn't really matter. I'll set these guys up as a bit of a buffer. So I'm going to bring these 3 auxiliary, total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're going to go right in front of my civilians here. And what they're going to do is they're going to provide an opportunity for me to intercept any barbarians coming in and basically just waste a turn where they can't kill any civilians, but, you know, they will kill the auxiliary, they'll be gone, but they won't get many points for it.
Now, when we first played this game, there was a thing we overlooked, which is the fact you can destroy bridges, and so it makes it harder for armies to cross. Now, I can't really use that right now, but it is definitely something you should remember, that you can burn bridges to make it like you can retreat and the enemy army can't follow you easily.
Yeah.
But all right. So now I'm just gonna play this 1 activation point because like I really cannot do anything else because that druid up there has been used twice. So he's just gonna try and revolt the Brigantes, and it's a 2. So the Brigantes revolt, which gives me a whole lot of strength to use in the coming rounds if we were playing a full game, because each warrior of theirs has a strength of 12, and they have a total of 6 pieces. So what's that? That is that's like 72?
No.
Yeah, they get 72 strength starting out. So they'll just go up here. Oh, there's a lot. And that's my... Actually, since I didn't effectively use the Rampage effect, I'll just use it right now for the heck of it to show what one of the effects could be. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'll play this Rampage effect, roll a die, it's a 5, so they could then, if they were in a city, they could sack it for free without any activation point. But they can't sack their own tribal oppidum because that's their home. They don't want to do that. So that's the end of my turn. So it goes to back to the Romans.
I have pretty much nothing to do. As I said earlier, my last card is a forced march. If I needed to, I could use the forced march on those cavalry last turn, but because I don't have an activation point for this turn, I can't march anyone and then give them the extra one. So this forced march card is basically rubbish.
Right. Now, I have this extra activation point, which would be really good. However, literally all my pieces have been used twice, so this just kind of goes into the discard pile, and that's the end of the first turn.
So now we've wrapped up our somewhat eventful first turn. We're going to move to turn 2. So we've already drawn our cards, but in this case, the Britons will be drawing 8 cards, so they're down from 10. The Romans stay at 6, but that'll change soon. And now we're each going to roll.
Oh, and before we start, every used token is taken off of every stack, and any rampages or any of that were used are taken off to show things are fresh now.
Everyone's statuses are reset. Now, I'm going to start by moving my civilians again. So, same kind of principle. These guys, I'm actually going to send off into the woods as much as I can. They really want to stay with the auxiliary. That's funny. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I've kind of got them away. If this one revolted, they might be screwed, but otherwise they're pretty safe down here. These guys, I'm going to go, how much is it through the woods? The woods is 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 6. So now they're nestled in the woods. They're behind some rivers. They probably won't get attacked. This guy, same thing as before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trying to keep him close to this Legion 2 entrance. Now that that's done, now that it's not just the first round and the Brits have the jump on us, we're going to roll to see who starts first.
I think we choose to add cards first if we want.
Yeah, so if I was really desperate to have initiative, which I'm not particularly desperate, they can't really destroy too much with just one turn above us. So I don't really need it. Olav, do you feel particularly led?
Not really, because he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If he had a forced march, he could battle, but then he would be risking a interception, which could be bad for him. So I'm not really that pressed about going first either. So yeah, we'll just let the dice decide it.
Well, for the sake of the tutorial, I'll throw in one measly activation point.
Right.
Just to see if I can get a little bit of advantage. So now, if we both rolled 3s, my one activation point would bring that up to a 4, and I'd get it. So let's see how this goes. Doesn't matter.
So I rolled a 3, he rolled a 1. Even with his extra point, I still go first.
Damn
so here, I am going to, let's see. Okay. Well, first off, I'm going to use this Rampage card first thing so I get its full effect. So I'm going to choose to Rampage the second horde right here. So I roll this die and see what happens. So I rolled a 4. This means that I get a +1 to all my attacks in combat. So to show that it's rampaged, you take one of the rampage symbols here and just, I'm just going to put it in the horde to keep things a little neater on the board. And then for my second card I'm going to play, I will play these 2 activation points and move my hordes around a little bit. So first off, we're going to move Boudicca herself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this horde, 1, 2, 3 into Londinium. So now I didn't link up my hordes quite yet because, well, I want Boudicca to go and bring up some other tribes into revolt, and this one I want to sack Londinium. So I want to keep them separate for now. And also, there's this fun little card that we're going to show off here called Hail Caesar, and I, low-key, got fucked because I grouped everyone together, went into battle with a full rampage, and Boudicca died because of it. So I'm going to be a little more cautious this time playing. So that's the end of my turn. Over to the Romans with Will.
So I'm going to keep it a little bit conservative this first turn. I'm just going to use one card. It's important as the Romans, I think, to stretch your cards as much as you can, because having less of them, you can quickly run out of cards, and then you're kind of just left sitting around while the Britons do pretty much whatever they want. So I'm just going to play one card, but it is 3 activation points, so I'm going to get to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to move Paulus another 4 spaces, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're almost to a road. He'll get there eventually. And right now, it would take, by my estimation, 12 years to get him down to the action. So I'm going to move him kind of to where Lindum, to intercept. Hopefully if these Brigantes come in, he can deal with them. My other 2 points, I'm going to obviously just use my other 2 legions. These guys are obviously trying to move in to kill those civilians. Now, both of them are pretty scary right now. This horde number 2 is a little bit weaker, but it's rampaging. Don't really want to deal with that. Boudicca is very strong. Don't necessarily want to deal with her, but I still maybe want to give them something to think about. So I'm going to move this guy a little bit closer. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I might just leave him here. And actually, can I sack this town?
That would take your second activation point. Or no, you can't sack in the same time that you move. Or you can't do that. You can sit there, and then on your next turn you could sack it.
So I'm going to leave him here, and I'll give him a use token in a second. And then with Hispania, I'm going to have to attack Boudicca. I got to do something. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, and actually, where do you want to intercept here?
Right. So there's a fun little rule in this game called interception, where when an army is moving towards or past another army, you have the chance to intercept them en route to attack you. So the way you calculate that is the army needs to be within 3 movement points of your position, which is important because as the Britons, you're really good at intercepting in fields and just off of roads, while as the Romans, you can't really intercept unless you're on the road. So the closer an enemy army is, the easier it is to intercept, because I'll read out what it says, but you need to roll a single die, and you need to roll it higher than the intercept value of the tile. And each tile someone is away is 2 intercept points. So they're only 1 tile away, which means I only need to roll a 2 or higher. And since I believe you get a bonus, you add 1 to the roll if you have a leader in the army, correct?
No, actually.
Oh, is it just...
But if you have cavalry, you do get 1.
I don't have cavalry with Boudicca.
Oh, wow.
Intercepting stack is Roman and post. Target is Briton, tribe, and wood. Interceptor is tribe. Okay. So I just need to roll a 2 or higher. And for the sake of demonstrating this, we're just going to say, well, let's see what happens.
Hopefully.
So just for the sake of it, let's say I rolled a 3. Really? So I intercept the legion. So now we go into a round of combat where we count up our total strength, and then we determine how many dice we roll, and then we just keep rolling them. So Boudicca here has 6 warriors, each with a strength of 12, which gives them 72 points.
We got 6 guys with a strength of 4, so that's 24, and then we got a cavalry and an auxiliary, so it's 28. I would not recommend doing this in a real game, but we're trying to show you
this is Hispania?
A battle. This is... Oh, shoot, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Hispania.
All right, my bad. Hispania has a strength of... So a full legion at max health should have 10 legionnaires who each have 4 strength. So they're going to have 40. And then we have 3 auxiliary and 4 cavalry.
Yeah.
So that's 14 more points. We got 54 on my side.
All right. So this is a ratio of 1 to 1, so we each will roll 1 die, and then we'll see what happens during the battle. And an important rule, so you can retreat from battles, but you can only really retreat if you have a lower strength value, but you can still retreat if you have a higher strength value. You just need to roll a die and get a 6 or higher. So we both have a strength of 1 to 1 for now. So we will both roll a single die.
And
now,
for that, you usually round to the closest number. Obviously, he has a little bit more strength than me, but it's not significant enough to make a difference.
If it were 0.5 or higher, we would round up to a 2 to 1 ratio. But since we are pretty under half, we round down. Now, before we roll, for this first round of combat, since I successfully intercepted this Roman legion, I get a +2 to my attack roll. Just for the first round, though. So it's like you can hit pretty hard first, but then it kind of peters out.
He's also going to get a bonus for having Boudicca, which might hurt. So let's see how this goes. Let's have the Britons roll.
So I rolled a 3 plus another 3, so I get a 6 for a total of 2 hits.
That's going to hurt. All right. And then I'm going to roll, hopefully something high. Okay, just a 3.
So I take a single hit, so I just flip over 1 warrior, and he takes 2 hits to his highest strength unit.
Now, something that's really fun that we can talk about here with the Romans is that one of your legionnaires, one of your special
It's the first cohort.
Yeah, sorry, one of your cohorts, which is always the first cohort. I'm trying to find him here. I buried him. Has this special ability, here he is, where when he dies, so I'm going to give him 2 hits. Right, so he starts at 4 and 8 here. I'm going to flip him over. And instead of being 2 and 8 like the others, he's actually going to go to 3 and 8. And when he dies, I'm going to give him both hits.
It has to go to the strongest, so it can't. It's got to be distributed.
Well, I'll still talk about this.
Right.
So I'm going to start with him with just 1 hit. But if you were to take another hit, he wouldn't be gone. He would be replaced by a slightly weaker version of himself. So that allows them to be pretty tanky. You get bonuses for when the legions kind of have full strength.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to...
Oh yeah, did you get anything for Roman or Legion at full strength?
Yeah, when you're attacking, you get a bonus for having a full legion, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to give him 1 hit. He's now down to 3 strength. And I'm just going to give some random other cohort a hit. And now they're down to 2 strength.
Yeah. So that's -3 from your total and -6 from mine, so I'm down to 64.
Yeah, and I'm down to, I don't know, I think like 51, more or less. Not enough to change the odds.
Right, so it's still 1 to 1, and now after a round of combat, the Romans could choose to retreat since they still have less strength.
Yeah, I want to keep going, because
Okay.
you don't have that bonus anymore.
I don't.
So we're going to do a little bit more of this.
So I still get the +1 for having Boudicca, so let's see what happens.
Oh, no.
Another 6.
Oh, God.
Well, the 5 plus 1 Boudicca, so
yeah,
roll of 6.
Let's see. If this is bad, I might have to run. Okay.
A 2, so that is a D, which means disrupted. Now...
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
So you take 2 hits to your highest guys, and I take... let me double check what disruption does. We never really got to that in the game we played.
Yeah. While he's doing that, I get to show you. This is my little replacement guy. He's a little weaker, but he's still alive. And if he takes another hit, he's down to 1 power, which is not great. But, it's the thought that counts. And then, was it to highest?
Yes, to
highest.
highest.
Great. So I'm going to just flip a different cohort. My other injured cohort stays alive, but now I have two strength cohorts.
Right.
Or actually 3. So this legion is getting pretty weakened. Once he's figured that out, I'm going to run.
So once a unit is disrupted, they get a -1 to any of their combat rolls. So that means for the rest of the round, or for the rest of the -1 to dice roll modifiers in future rounds of combat, all disrupted markers are removed automatically when combat is finished. So he didn't do any damage, but I now lose the bonus that Boudicca has.
Yeah. So at this point, are you retreating?
I'm not, because I'd have to roll a 6 to get there.
So at this point, the odds are still even. And actually, they're pretty much entirely even now because his bonus from Boudicca is gone. So I have a choice to make, which is I can retreat if I want to. But I could stay and fight. Now, I'm going to choose to retreat because what I value more than a little bit of chip damage on him is the ability to, as an attacker, have that bonus from having a full legion. So I'm going to choose to retreat, and that's free.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're allowed to pursue.
I can't because I don't have any cavalry.
Yeah, so if he had cavalry, like in his second horde, with cavalry, he'd be able to chase after me and get some free hits while I'm running. He can't, so I'm out of here. So now that I've chosen to retreat, it basically means that I have to move this guy as far as possible towards the closest Roman-controlled town. None of these are little villages. These don't count. Unfortunately, right here is a tribal Epidium by that, outline of it. Londinium is controlled. He's got a horde in there, so I got to go 8 moves directly backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Womp womp.
Back up to Lindum, which is up here.
Yeah, this is the most direct path I could take.
So since I intercepted on this tile, the army I used to intercept moves into it to show that I've gone and attacked him.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else for now, so that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yes. So now that it is back to my turn, let's see. I do believe... So, an important thing to notice is whenever you... If a card says win, like if this turn you win a major battle, winning includes the enemy retreating. So, I have the event card if the Britons won a major battle this turn. I won that battle since he retreated, so I can play this immediately to take a new card from my draw pile, which is pretty helpful. We'll just draw, and we get an activation point. So, from here, I'm going to play... Now, this legion here, the Valyria, is pretty weak, so I'm not that scared of it coming to attack me. I'm doing okay. So I think I'm going to send this horde down here to try and beat up these auxiliaries, try and kill the civilians down here in east of England. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'll use a druid invocation, which I just roll a die and see what happens. Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I rolled a 1, which means I draw an extra card from my deck, which, pretty good. So I just draw a random one, and I got another activation point. So now I'm going to play a second card with, I think, just 1 activation point, and we're going to move this horde 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to attack these auxiliary.
I will be trying to intercept.
You will be trying. So he will be trying to intercept before I attack them.
Yeah.
On the road here.
So I need to roll, I think, a 3.
2 or higher.
2 or higher, yes.
1.
Now, I don't have any. This is 3 auxiliary. They've got no cavalry, so. All right. Oh, actually. Wait a minute. I do think intercepting stack is a Roman in a post. No, it's
Not
a
in a
town.
post.
So if it was all the way down here, that would count, but no. All right. 2 or higher, please. 3.
Yep. So you get to intercept.
They have a slight chance of surviving.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to do...
Wait, this, I think... So, can you pause it?
Whoever's watching this should be Teddy. We're going to undo this move. We will send you the timestamp. Edit this out. He is not attacking the auxiliary.
Yeah. Okay, so with the second the 1 activation point, I'm going to send this horde up here to deal with the 20th Legion because it's pretty weak, and my horde, 1, it's rampaging, so I get a 1 die bonus to, or like a +1 to all my combat rolls, and these guys are weak down here. I don't really care about them. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before I attack, would you like... Or no, you're not going to intercept.
I'm not going to intercept because
So-
I have an ace up my sleeve here that he doesn't know about.
Yeah. Which, this is probably one of the Romans' best cards they have. So, I'm going to be the attacker. I've got a strength of 42 to 20.
To 28 for the Valyria Legion because like half this legion is with the governor in Gemina, so they're a pretty weak target early on.
Yeah. I think that is that a, I think that, wait.
That would be rounded to a 2-to-1 odds in favor of the Britons. But I have
42 to 28. Would it? Oh yeah, it would, because
Yes.
I've got very close. It's very close to the mark.
But I have this fun card. Olav hates this card.
Yeah.
It's called Hail Caesar. Now, Hail Caesar does a similar thing to one of his cards, where if I've won a major battle this round, I can draw an extra card. But it has this nice secondary effect under very specific circumstances, where when a rampaging British force or Briton force attacks a Roman legion force at 2-to-1 odds or greater and is a major battle,
Which this is.
both those have been satisfied. You can play this card. The Romans are in a very defensible position, apparently. The odds for this battle now will always be in favor of the Romans, so they essentially flip. Right here, it's 2-to-1 in favor of him. Now it's 2-to-1 in favor of me.
Right.
I roll 2 dice. If it was somehow 7-to-1, those 7 dice, they're going to me. So you flip the tables. Now, if the Britons retreat, there's some extra stuff. We'll get to that because he's probably going to want to get out of here pretty soon. But for now, let's play through this. You still get your rampage bonus,
I do.
but now I take his 2 die. So
Yes.
let's roll for it.
So I rolled a 6,
Please matter.
and that's
dear
an
God.
11. So
Oh, dear God.
I
Rampage.
have to take 4 hits to my highest troops. So I take 2 hits to my warriors of 10 from the Cativolani, and then I'll just take another 1 from the Trinovantes, so I kill 1 Trinavante warrior.
And keep in mind, I do think now that the odds have changed, it doesn't matter in this case because Hail Caesar permanently sets them at whatever that beginning point was. Correct?
I believe that, wait, the Romans are invaded. The odds for the battle will always be in favor of the Roman for the rest of the battle if the normal odds are 3-to-1. Before we get to that, so you take 1 hit, or no?
Yes.
You take
2?
2 hits to your highest.
So I'm just gonna flip 2 of my legion, 2 of my cohorts. You know, no sweat off my back. It's a loss of 4. I destroyed him much more than that.
Yeah. So now he, at the end of each round of battle, roll a die, and if the result is greater than the number of hits the Romans inflicted, or no, less than, I think, the number. Wait, if the result is less than the number of hits the Romans inflicted, the Britons rout and withdraw from the battle.
Yeah.
So I have to roll this die, and if it's less than 4, my forces retreat. It's a 4, so we don't retreat. So now I believe, plus not taking the cavalry. So now we just go through another round of combat, and so the odds are now 10, 15. I think that is 27 to
24.
27 to 24. So the odds are now 1-to-1. But I still get my rampage bonus, which is nice. So yeah, I'm still the highest value strength. Or no, am I less?
You have 1 more.
I have 1 more. So if I had to withdraw, I'd have to roll a 6 or higher. So I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens.
Or you have a couple more. Yeah.
Right. So I rolled a 3.
1.
To a 1.
Jeez.
So
I thought you could just get anything.
from that, you take 1 hit, and I don't take any.
To the highest?
Yes, 1 to the highest. So now at this point, I'm still the highest value. So I can't. I could try to withdraw, but a bad thing with the Britons about withdrawing is that if you have a force of multiple tribes, they scatter to their respective homelands. So I don't really want to withdraw because then I lose my horde. So I'm just going to keep fighting and see what happens.
Yeah, and we've ignored the rule about, rolling less than the Roman hits because I didn't hit him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. All right, let's go again.
So that's a 4 and another 1. So I'm rolling really well this game, which is surprising for the Britons because the last time I played, I got really bad luck. So he takes another hit to his highest.
A lot of guys. Now, so I really thought this was going to go better for me, but seeing how this is turning out with a very weakened legion, I'm now going to choose to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you do have cavalry this time.
I have cavalry with a strength of 12, so I get to do a little bit of damage to his legion as they're withdrawing.
Oh my goodness, that's actually really bad.
Yeah. So, difference of the winner's cavalry strength versus the loser's cavalry strength halved, rounded down, but not less than 1. So, pursuit is a little weird. It takes the... Let's see. So, if the victorious army or stack has more cavalry strength points than the withdrawing, which I have, we take the difference of the cavalry strength of the two forces and half it. So, you have a strength of 2, and I have a strength of 12. So that's 10 minus, or divided by 2 is 5. So using that value, roll a die that many times on the skirmish results table. So there's a separate table of, this is major battle hits and skirmish. So when you're pursuing, you just use this table on the right instead of the left. So I roll a die 5 times, and we just see what happens. So that's a 5, which is 1 hit. You take 1 hit.
I was going to do them at the end.
Oh, if you want. Well, yeah, you can. It's up to you. You can do it at the end or as it's happening. So that's 1 die. Nothing. 3rd die is another hit.
Okay.
4th die is another hit, and 5th die is a disruption. So they just get a minus. I think that's just a disruption is a -1 to any combat rolls in that round, but that doesn't really matter here because it would just be removed.
Yeah.
So he took a total of 3 hits in the pursuit, which is pretty good in terms of a successful pursuit.
Yeah, and again, I just chose to flip basically all my goes over to their weaker side. So this is a very weak army. This is like, I don't even know.
Was it each one's
It's
2?
12. This is 15. Like, I'm losing any battle I'm stuck in now. But they're alive. So if I can link them up with something else, it'll still make a difference.
Yeah.
For the interest of time, we've jumped ahead around. Not too much important has happened. The Druid's been moved over here to try to get these guys to rise up. This town has been sacked, and Boudicca has been moved into Londinium to sack there. And for my turn, I moved some auxiliary up, and using a force march, I finally got this legion to kind of a usable position. Now, new turn, I'm starting, and what I'm going to choose to do is use the last relevant card, which is to move Governor Suetonius Paulinus to anywhere on the map. Now, why would I want to do this? Well, now, there's 2 main reasons that I would want to move the governor. First of all, as we saw with Boudicca, leaders give you an advantage on your dice rolls, which, as we've seen so far, I really need right now.
And the governor gives a +2 instead of a +1 like Boudicca does. So he's pretty good.
Really great. The other thing is it means that legions can meld with each other. So, starting in Gemina, he has his own legion, but he also has parts of Valyria, sorry. That's from a video game. And that is because he's the governor that he can have that many troops under his command. So, I'm going to move him. We, unfortunately, are missing an indicator for him. So, instead, I'm going to use a little fire piece to indicate him. So, he is now going to move over to this legion. I'm going to move him into Hispania. So he's going to go in their little square over here.
Now
This means that these legions, which I was represented with a little scared, have to split. So the little scared guy is still going to represent Gemina. They're just going to get shoved out a little bit, I'm pretty sure. So we're still going to move them up north to Lindum. And now these parts of Valyria are going to stay in the town. And because there was a force march used when they were together, they now both have that force march status still.
As well as the used twice, because they moved together.
Yeah, but which is kind of implied in force march.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for keeping your stack short, you can just use force march.
Right.
And I'm going to probably end my turn there because there's not much more to do. I have one more card to use, I believe, which is 3 activation points. And with this, there's kind of 2 things I can do, actually. I'm going to... Actually, they can't stack, so I'm not going to be able to move them. I'll move this Legion one more time, and I'm going to move them to try to get them a little closer to Valyria here, because what I want is I want them to merge and to start messing up these guys. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And next round they should be able to meet up. Now, I have 2 more uses. Can't do anything with them, not really. But what I can do, it's a bit of a crack shot, but I'm going to do it just to show you how it works, is try to bring the second Legion in. So we've jumped ahead to the last round, which turned out kind of crazy, just for the sake of showing you scoring, but the last 3 rounds have been more of the same, no new stuff. So in short, the Romans, I pushed Boudicca back to her home, and I kind of terrorized some tribes down here, and we'll see how that ended up scoring. And he managed to just sack a lot of stuff, which you'll see actually won him the game, unfortunately for me. So for scoring, once you've reached the end of the 6th turn, and you've done all your cards on both sides, which is 8 for the Romans and only 4 for Boudicca, so you can really see how that starts to taper out. Then you tally up points according to the point sheet, so we'll walk through each one of those. So for the Romans, I would get 5 points if I was able to sack Boudicca's home here in Wenta, which I didn't. If you were to do that, it would probably be sending out auxiliary after it's defenseless, because there's really no way to march up here with a full army without a horde getting you. I get 3 points for each tribal oppidum sacked, so I had 1, 2, 3 here in the end, for a total of 9 points. I was not able to kill Boudicca, which would have netted me 5. Each druid I killed would have gotten 2. Again, couldn't do that. Each civilian counter that's still alive, so I had, stashed 4 of them away at different points. This one ended up out here, so he could be protected by the Legion. Those each give me 2, so I get 8. And then, for each counter of a tribe who revolted and all the tribe's units have been eliminated, you get a point. So, partial destruction of a tribe does not net you any points. You have to destroy all of them, and then you count it up. So, they're not visible on the edge, unfortunately, but I killed... Yeah, we can move it in a little bit.
Yeah.
So, up here, I killed the Iceni, which was pretty impressive. So I got 1 point for all 6 of them. And then I destroyed the Corduvillani, I believe?
Corlia Talvi.
Yeah,
And
those
then
guys, which is 3 of them. And then the... Atrebates, which is 3. So that's 12 points. 9 for sacking, 8 for civilians, 12 for, killed tribes. I ended with 29 points.
All right, and then for the Britons, so they get points for 4 points for each town sacked. So I sacked a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towns, giving me 24 points just from that. I didn't sack any of the posts, which are up here in Deva and then down here. I didn't manage to eliminate any legions. I did manage to get the the Hispania and the Valyria down to less than 22 strength points, netting me 10 points, 5 for each legion I reduced in strength. I didn't manage to kill the governor, so I didn't get 5 points for that. And I got 2 points for the 1 for each civilian I eliminated over here, which gave me a total of 36 victory points.
Yeah, so that's the game. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was somewhat informative.
Yeah, hope this helps make the somewhat intimidating game less so and a little more approachable.
Yeah, and just remember, sacking is literally the most important thing ever.
Yeah, sacking, and if you want to attempt to attack some Roman legions and get them down in strength, but that's a little riskier.
Yeah, so enjoy your own game.
Yeah.